Hey, everybody. Welcome to Storytime with Max and John. I'm John.
And I'm Max. We had a really cool episode today with our friend John Vaughan. He's a bassist in a band called Spaced from Buffalo, New York. We talked a lot about his first tour in Europe, things that happened on that tour, antics ensued.
Yeah, he's also a barista, so we spent some time talking about espresso and how all that works. We learned a lot.
Anyways, we had a lot of fun. Hope you enjoy it. And also, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like the things. Share with your friends.
Yeah, if
Share
you
with your enemies.
If you feel inclined to support the podcast, we do have a link on our Anchor that you can click on and make a donation if you want. If not, that's fine too. Just remember to like and subscribe, share with your friends, do what you can to help.
You can find a lot of that info through the link StouryTimePod.com. STOURY pod and time.com.
StouryTimePod.com. StouryTimepod.com.
Enjoy
Enjoy the episode, guys.
We were pissing neon green every day.
That big ball of heat in the sky was too much.
I thought there was a bear.
Reality goes, yeah, fresco. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, everybody.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome to
Welcome to
Storytime.
Storytime.
Okay, what's up, Sip Nation? Here's a fresh crack.
Shout out to
This one is I'm drinking Polar Seltzer Mandarin Orange. I've definitely have had this before, but very strong Mandarin flavor, as one would suspect. Here's the first sip. As precious and beautiful as always. 10 out of 10.
All right, that's
good
been
review.
story time.
It's a good review.
You should do that for Overwinter.
So I cannot claim that as my own
That's fine.
because it is for my friend Ron Hill. It is his one of his internet presence or personas, I should say.
Isn't imitation the highest form of flattery?
I guess one could say that. But
I think Weird Al said that once.
I
Somebody
can't like fresh. His thing is like with caps and like whatever this is, a pull tab. This isn't a pull tab. A tab, you know,
You crack
cans.
the can, yeah.
You crack the can, you open the bottle. I can't do that at work.
Yeah, that's fair. I
Yeah.
visited John at work the other day.
This is the idea, baby.
To be fair, you're drinking out of mugs. Or teacups or whatever the hell you're
He's just going straight to his palms.
can't-
just cracking mugs.
No, that's why I can't do it at work.
You could do it with a coffee bag, though. You could crack the bag.
I
and,
could
like,
crack open a new.
just chew a bean.
You could.
People have done that in front of me before at the cafe.
How does it
and,
make you feel?
like they're on some other shit.
Do you not eat coffee beans?
You can.
My sister did. She
Yeah,
ate like chocolate covered.
Yeah,
coffee
that's a big
beans.
thing.
Yeah, that's weird to me. I don't know. Everyone's like, oh, it's like straight
like it.
caffeine. It's like, no. It's,
Absolutely not.
Tastes
No.
like dirt.
There's no such thing as an espresso bean. You're being lied to.
What?
It's true.
Isn't that just a brand name? Or is
No,
that
it's
Nespresso?
like that's Nespresso.
Nespresso, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to be
We'll
better.
beep
Espresso
that.
is
Yeah,
a-
no free
we
con-
can't
no
afford-
free promo.
No
We
free
can't
promo.
afford that.
No.
Wait,
It's
I don't.
It's a grind size and a beverage, but it is not a type of bean
So you could do an espresso,
with any coffee.
any coffee.
Yeah.
Like
There couldn't be
So it's like the strength, basically.
the brewing style.
Right. So like
Yeah.
if you add 12 ounces of water, that's not an espresso. It's too much water.
Anymore. It can start off as an espresso, but with
John-
12 ounces of water, it becomes an Americano.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like 6 ounces would be an espresso?
It'd be like a short black of water.
Yes.
Yeah, like a short black.
How much is in an espresso?
Water?
How much water do you need to make an espresso?
Well, it depends on like your ratio and how you want to pull your shots and stuff like that.
I walk in, I would like one espresso.
Okay, so there's
Let's
like
make it simple.
we usually use like 18 grams of coffee, and then it usually comes out at 27 grams of espresso. So it's like 1.5
to one.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whatever amount of water that is. I hit a button and I do math.
Sure.
Yeah.
Our espressos are stronger, though, correct?
Then a cup of coffee?
Yes.
No.
It's just a myth?
Yeah.
I thought people drank espresso.
Yeah, I thought like if you I get a
that's-
coffee with 3 shots of espresso on
Well,
it.
yeah, but that's insane. That's coffee and added caffeine. But a shot of espresso does not necessarily, like, depending again on like ratios and stuff like that. One shot of espresso does not have more caffeine than a cup of coffee
Then why do
Fair enough.
people think it does?
because they want to be cool. Be like, I just drink straight espresso. I'm like, cool, dude.
Nice.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
That's really. I didn't
not
know
that cool.
that at all.
It's not
That's
that
really
cool.
interesting.
No, I mean, like, it is taste. Like, if you drink it for the taste and everything, that's cool.
I know people drink
like-
it like after dinner.
Yeah.
Just a little espresso.
Yeah.
Well,
But also, if you just want like a little jolt, it's cool. Like, it's nice.
yeah.
If I want a jolt, I'm going to drink a jolt.
We
don't know what it
can't
is.
sponsor that. It's we can't what? We can't afford that.
I can afford a jolt. I've drank one before. I've never drank the other thing.
The Nespresso.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
really captivated the audience right now.
I think we did actually.
Yeah.
I think we
Yeah.
genuinely did because
How-
there's definitely a couple moments where you see my face running just numbers.
Okay, I do like just one last question about that. How many, like, if you had to say milligrams of caffeine is in a
Cup of coffee.
or like espresso?
He said
Shot of
1 to
espresso.
1. Oh, all right.
No. I think a cup of coffee is somewhere around like 200 milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah, I've
or
read-
180. It's like a weird number. It's like 185
Yeah.
or something like that. But a shot of espresso is like probably around like $1.50. If it's not like an insane difference.
Right.
But-
It's just there's more caffeine.
But there is
In a
more
small-
caffeine. Because if
okay.
you think about it this way, like I said earlier, we use typically 18 grams of coffee for a shot of espresso.
Right.
When we make a cup of coffee, we use 25 grams of coffee. So there is right there the difference of 7 grams.
Yeah.
So you will have
7 more.
7
Okay.
more.
I see on the TikTok they use this. It looks like the thing that you put on
Oh,
your head.
it's called a WDT tool.
What? Why?
It's to
Because
help.
you aerate it, but then you clamp it back down. So what's
So
the
it
point?
helps disperse any clumps that are in there that can cause channeling.
Okay.
And channeling is
Bad.
Channeling is bad.
But then you're pressing it back in.
Yes. No. Okay, so the first thing you see is that the spinny thing. No.
The first thing I see is they scoop it out and put it in the little cup.
That's the first wrong step. You should not scoop. You should just get it from your grinder.
You know, whatever. The coffee's entering the little cuppy thing.
the portafilter.
Sure.
That's what it's called.
And
That was fun.
You're gonna be learned today.
That was fun.
You're gonna be learned today.
that's what it's called. And then they do the press. They have a little like stamp looking thing. It goes, psh, and then they stamp it, and then they put it in.
Oh, okay. So you're not talking about a WT.
It looks like the thing that you put on your head that does the weird
Yeah,
scratch.
so
Oh.
like what the process should be is WDD tool, and then the spinny thing. I don't know what that is called. Charlie has one.
Yeah.
And then you tamp it.
So my question is,
The WDT
why are you
tool.
aerating it to just clamp it?
So it comes out because the coffee grounds are so fine they can clump.
Right.
So and you don't want clumping because then your extraction is
Yeah.
poor.
Right.
So what I mentioned, like John said, channeling is bad.
Channeling is bad.
Bad.
I get that.
So yeah, it's like because that could just ruin your shot.
Ruin.
Yeah. So like the WTD tool, make sure there's no clumps.
Sure.
Okay.
And then you tamp it.
And then you tamp it.
Isn't that just making one big clump?
No, it's making one even puck.
I think.
Okay.
Okay, if there's a clump, you'll notice it.
Yeah.
Like it'll be visible.
Yeah. Huh.
Whereas when you tamp it, it's like all smooth and sexual and silky.
This is why I
looking.
stopped drinking coffee.
I don't drink coffee either.
You should.
I shouldn't. It's not good for me.
Makes
Do
me
you
sweat.
drink energy drinks?
Yeah, you drink Jolt.
Occasionally.
Okay, just have decaf. That's why decaf exists.
I only do the energy drink so that I get jittery. That's all. It's for
Then
classes.
you
that's it.
shouldn't do it.
That's the only reason I do it.
That's a bad reason.
That's the only reason.
All right.
I didn't say it was a good reason. I said it was a bad reason.
Since
I
you
did.
don't-
To be fair, I said it was the only reason. I didn't say it was a good reason.
Since you work at Overwinter,
Yep.
which is not like a chain. Like it's a chain, but it's not like a Starbucks.
Yeah, it's a
or Tim
local. It's
Hortons.
a locally owned multi cafe thing. Yeah.
Do people come in and order like crazy stuff like they would at Starbucks, or are they a bit more refined in a sense?
Can they have it their way?
It's not like Subway.
BK.
It is like Subway, but it's not like Subway. I do get a lot of like, could I have a caramel macchiato?
Yeah.
And then my favorite thing to do,
Say no.
no, when someone asks for caramel, I say we don't have caramel. But when anybody asks, do you have caramel? I go, we don't have caramel. And I
You flip-flop.
I mind them,
Yeah.
and it's fun. But
I just see the Yelp.
we do
reviews.
get like complicated orders, and
Yeah.
like no shade to the older crowd, but it usually is the older crowd. Just because like they normally can't deal with too much caffeine, so we need to
Sure.
like figure out how to do it.
how to cut it.
Yeah.
My dad gets half calves.
Yeah, there's this older couple that, so we pull double shots. So every shot is 2. So in a large beverage, there's 2 double shots. So there's 4 shots of espresso in a large beverage. But this older couple wants an extra split shot between each of them. So then there'll be 5, and then the amount of vanilla that I would normally put in one drink gets split between the 2, with oat milk, extra hot, and no foam. But then they always love that I put a little design on it, and I'm like, that's the foam, honey. I'm like, like that's. But
you haven't seen my TikToks. Have
yeah,
you?
yeah. But there are complicated orders, but it's nothing like. Usually, like
Can I get hazelnut with 13 shots of espresso?
Usually the thing that like when people always ask for double doubles because it happens every day, and like I mean we're cultured in the city to
Tim Hortons.
to Tim Hortons, and like it's no one's fault, but like when you grow up drinking coffee in this
I
city,
think it's
normally
one person's fault. R.I.P. Tim Hortons.
Tim.
It's Tim's fault.
Sorry,
His fault.
Tim.
He created something that people love, and it's his fault.
It's true. It's true.
Or his family, rather.
But I'm just like I'll leave it on the counter, and you could just put in as much as you like, because I don't know
Yeah, you
what
leave
double
room.
cream is. I don't know what
'cause
that
you don't have
is.
the little
Oh, because you
cups.
just kind of you do the thing. You just
No,
'Cause
I
I-
don't
I-
even do that. I just anytime anybody wants cream or sugar in their
Tell 'em it's
coffee,
over
I'm
on
like,
the-
it's on the. I'll put the cream on the counter for you, and sugar's over there,
Oh,
because I don't
yeah.
want to create something that you don't want to drink.
No, because at Tim Hortons, I think they have like the little cups, so it's usually.
Well, they have a
Yeah.
machine.
No,
they have a milk.
machine
They have
listen
like
from a pro,
from a former
employee.
former
They have
Hornet.
a machine that you put a big bag of it. It's like 2 gallons of creamer. You put it in, and then for a small, you hit the small, and then it just spits it out. And then if they say double, you just hit it twice. Or you hit a large, which is the same amount as a small coffee.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, but
yeah,
it's true.
it's insane, man. So
What
I don't know where we were going with. Oh, complicated orders.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it happens every day.
What's your biggest pet peeve with coffee and ordering?
Ordering.
What's your biggest pet peeve with ordering, and what's your biggest pet peeve with coffee in general?
I have 2 big pet peeves with ordering, and one is not on top of the other because they're equally just as shitty. When I say, "Hey, how are you?" and they go, "Large coffee," I'm just like, "Cool, you're a dick." And then when people pay with cash, which is great for us because we don't have to pay credit card fees, and like I love paying with cash. When they
is king.
slide the money to you instead of handing it to me because they don't think I have a soul or something like that. Do you know what I mean? They're
I
just
think
like,
so that's not true. Baristas don't have. They do have souls.
we do have
Okay.
souls. Breaking news.
Well, you heard it here first. That's a story time exclusive right there.
John is a ginger a little bit. So.
Yeah, ginger beard, a little bit. what was the other one? And with coffee, my pet peeve
Just
with
in
coffee,
general, yeah.
people get too fucking uptight about roast dates, man.
Oh, like when it was roasted?
When it was roasted.
Oh.
If you,
Coffee goes bad, right? After it's roasted?
after a long time.
Is it a
Yeah,
long
like
time?
whole bean coffee can
Whole bean.
It can maintain its freshness up to like probably 3-ish months, 3-4 months.
Yeah.
If you grind it, it loses potency. So you lose flavor over time if you grind it. But like after coffee is roasted, it needs to degas for a period of time as well.
Me too.
So
Don't give him that. That's a pity
it
laugh
was
if I ever
so
heard one.
good. I liked it. So everyone's like, "Oh, this coffee wasn't roasted 2 days ago. It was roasted 3 days ago. I need something fresher." I'm like, "No, you don't, because your coffee won't degas." So like after time, the coffee will like not. It doesn't grow, but like it'll grow into its like actual.
It goes through puberty.
It goes through coffee puberty, if you will.
Yeah, it's like aging.
It's aging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which you would think that would make it like stronger in some way.
More flavorful.
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Who knew?
I think that's it. Or when I explain something to a T with like why we do certain things,
Yeah.
and everyone's like, "Well, don't do it that way." I had this conversation with my coworker today.
I'm behind the counter.
Yeah, I know. It was just like I told everyone that doesn't work in a coffee shop knows how to run one.
Yeah.
They're just like, "You should do this way." I'm like, "There's a reason we don't,"
Yeah.
but
That's a good idea.
I'll
think about it.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
How long have you been baristaing? Is barista.
3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got the job at Overwinter mainly as like a second job
Yeah.
because I was bartending at the time. And then everyone started getting sick and no one could go to work. So I was home for a little while. And then
Everyone started getting sick. I don't know what it was.
I
What was that?
couldn't tell you.
Okay. Sounds fake to me.
And
Everyone
then
started getting sick. Everyone started getting food poisoning, man. I don't know.
I don't know. But at the time, there was only the one location, the one that you visited me at downtown.
Yeah.
And they like already solidified the Elmwood one.
Mm-hmm.
And they were looking at the spot in Williamsville. And at the time, I was still living at my dad's. And he lives like 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
And Josh, my boss, was like, "Hey, like, I know you've only really been working for us for like maybe 3 months. It was maybe even 2. It was like 2 months. I got back from a trip to Disney with Jenna, and like the next day I started working, but I was only working like 2 days a week for. It was only like 2 months. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like 2 months. He's like, "Yeah, no, you've only been working with us for like 2 months, but if you want to manage that location, let's do it." And I'm like, "What?"
You've only been working with us for 2 months, and you're not sick somehow. So
Yeah, yeah. So it was so funny how.
Because of the amount of espresso you drink.
Yeah,
I heard that that's the cure.
John
That's-
and I grew up down the street from each other.
we found that out.
Yeah.
And you
when-
didn't know each other?
No.
Correct.
Wild.
Yeah.
Public school, private school.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had no idea.
Yeah.
I drove past
His
dad's
kind
house, like,
didn't
all the time.
associate with your kind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's not true. That's
We did. We let them take out our garbage.
yep.
Are you
How's
hiring?
touring going?
Pretty good. We're kind of taking it easy. I need to stop referring to the years as semesters, but I write the schedule for work, and I do have some like students on staff, and Lexi, our vocalist, is in school. So when I say we're taking it easy this semester, it's just kind of that's how I
'cause
view.
you're referring to your employees.
Yeah, my employees and stuff like that. But Lexi's student teaching this semester, their final semester of school. So we're not touring as often.
And
but,
that's spaced.
That is spaced.
Yes.
Yeah. But like we have a show Saturday in Boston with One Step Closer, and then we have a few shows in February, I believe. One in March. I don't think we have anything in April. We may have something lined up for May. And then,
Pretty cool.
yeah.
So you guys are staying busy as you can, though.
Yeah. Last year, we played 60 shows in 50 different cities in 10 countries.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was cool.
How was the European
Unlike
tour?
anything I've ever experienced.
Had you been to
for
Europe
sure.
before?
None of us have been to Europe before, but
And then all of a sudden you're just touring it?
yeah, I mean, the first 3 shows were in the UK, and I had been there before a few years back because my dad did some work out there, and he took a week and he flew my sisters and I out and we hung out. But like other than the UK, none of them had been over there. And Europe was a first for all of us.
And who was that with? Comeback Kid?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that Cancer Bats too, or was that in the U.S.?
No, Cancer Bats was the U.S.
Okay.
Yeah. It was Comeback Kid for the whole thing. The last like third of it was with this band from Germany called Dagger Threat, and then the last like 3-4 shows was also with Darkest Hour. It was the other band that was on like the last 3 or 4 shows.
Now having toured in the U.S. and Europe and the U.K. and everything, is there a blatant difference in the show? Like when you played a show there, were you like, holy shit, this is wild?
Everyone gives a shit over there. They don't care who you are. They're just happy to be there and happy that there's music happening.
Isn't it because of that mentality of like, oh, we don't know who this band is, but we may never see them again?
I think that may have something to do with it, but
We talked about it a little bit when I was at your shop.
Mm-hmm.
Europe's way bigger on like supporting the arts than the U.S. is.
yes.
Well, so is Canada and like every other country.
yeah.
But-
So
Like a lot of like France and like Germany and like some of the other countries, you can get funding for your art, like for bands. For
yeah, I know.
comedy,
I know for a fact that Canada does.
Yeah.
because friend of ours played in Counterparts.
yeah.
Lives here. Everyone else is from Canada, and when they'd get ready to tour, they all got $2,000
Yeah.
or $3,000, however much it was,
Yeah.
and he didn't because he was not from Canada.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's just how it works, but they take care of me while I'm out there, so it's not as big of a deal. But
Yeah.
that's crazy. That'd be amazing if that was in America, but sorry, continue.
Yeah, there's a festival that we played in Munich, which was our first European show. It was called Free and Easy Fest. And it was,
on the weekends.
I believe it was like a 2-week long festival.
Every day for
Every-
2 weeks, or
every
was it like
day.
a weekend thing?
Every day for 2 weeks.
European festivals are different.
Every day for 2 weeks from like
Fucking crazy.
maybe like 11 a.m. until like, I don't know, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., something like that. It was a long day, a lot of bands, but it was like different bands every day. I do believe different styles of music, but what was super cool about it was all funded by the government.
Yeah.
So like it was free to the public. You just showed up
That's crazy.
and all you had to pay for was food and beverage.
That's why whenever they do like the Live Aid and shit, there's like millions of people in the shots from, the UK or whatever, and then you come to America and there's like substantially less people.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like, and Comeback Kid got like everywhere was like the biggest reaction of like any band I've ever toured with ever. Like, and
They've been touring for a while.
they have been, yeah.
I mean, they've been around since before I was old enough to really get into that kind of music.
Yeah, their one guitar player, Jeremy, he told like a piece of advice that stuck with us. He's like,
Quit.
if you're gonna keep doing this, he's like, you got to keep coming back here because people they give a shit.
Yeah.
That was it. They care. He's like, it's amazing. He's like, sure, like their Canada shows may like sell out and stuff, but he's like, it's nothing compared to what Europe offers. Yeah. They just are crazy.
That's the same. It's like even like when I started comedy out there, like at the open mics, it would be crowds of 30 to 50 people, and I was like, this is what comedy is. And then I came here and I was like, this sucks. 'Cause
Yeah.
there'd be, like, two
This
people.
is unfortunately what comedy
Yeah.
is in America.
It's just because like they just give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
They're cool with like, oh, the ticket's $10, alrighty.
Yep.
Whereas like here, it's like, oh, the ticket's $10. That's a hard no.
It's a hard no. Yeah.
It's real weird.
Yeah. And like, I think if I had to like compare it to anything here, it's like because like all the shows we played over there were like club shows, except for the few festivals we played. But like a really sick club show had the energy of like a really sick, like sold out like house show. Like that's kind of the vibe that it felt. But you were on a stage, you're a little bit higher. Yeah. But like that was the energy.
But
entire
everyone
night.
wanted to be like
everyone
front
wanted
and
to be
center
yes,
and in it.
yes,
Yeah.
and like like you play club shows here, and it's like you get the horseshoe of shame.
Yeah, you're like, come up, and then they come up a step, and you're like, no, there's 4 feet between us still. Yeah.
And then I just clobber them. I think, I don't know in your experience, but at the shows in Spain, there's like a couple like divey kind of bars where they'll have shows, but like they were predominantly in like discotecas, like actual like clubs. So like you're there to see like a punk show, but it's just like the vibe of like reggaeton, just like it's like, you know, it's really clean and like everything.
Up and it's sticky. What's happening?
Yeah,
we didn't experience anything like
No.
that. I don't think. No,
we'll play Spain, and you will.
we should. Yeah, that'd be fun. I would like to get out there. The lady that makes the kexes is in Spain.
Oh,
Yeah.
so she ships them.
No, she went on vacation.
Oh, she's on vacation there now.
Yeah.
Got it.
Where's she? Well, we can talk about it later.
I don't know. I was like, where are you going? She goes, Spain. I was like, cool.
Whole thing.
Yep.
Don't get lost.
Yeah.
Bye.
Where did you play in Europe?
It was mostly Germany, UK, Slovenia, Slovakia, Czech Republic, Italy.
Did you do the Netherlands?
No,
Belgium?
What part of Italy?
Milan. We played with Sick of It All.
That's pretty sick.
The other cool thing about that show was the guitar player of Sick of It All couldn't make the tour because he was having surgery. So they had one of the guitar players from Agnostic Front fill
That's
in.
sick.
So we were just like surrounded by like
New York hardcore.
legends.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what?
That's gnarly.
Yeah. And Madball was supposed to play, but they dropped their whole tour or something. I don't know why, but yeah. So it was just a 3-band bill. It was like outside. Yeah. Italy was a day.
I love Italy.
Yeah.
What happened in Italy?
I peed on myself.
All right,
And
let's hear this.
There's more to it than that.
Well, let's hear the story.
Was it just like you woke up and you're like, you know what? Let's start the day
No,
this way.
no. We pull up to the venue.
Where
and
are you coming from?
I don't know.
Okay.
I could.
What vehicle are you in?
We are in a big Mercedes Sprinter van.
No bathroom.
No.
Yeah.
No. With our driver Steven, who is the best dude.
Shout out, Steven.
Shout out Steven. Steven Dwar Visuals on Instagram. Check him out. He's the best. He was our driver. He was from Scotland. He was the bomb. So it's just the 6 of us driving in the Sprinter van. And it was also really funny because it was a UK van, so the driver's side is on the other side.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like we try to like also like the passenger door is only on the passenger side, not on the driver's side for the Sprinter van.
Oh, to get out.
So
Okay.
for
It's
like
not both sides.
No, it's not both sides. So like we would try
you're getting out into traffic.
sometimes.
Yeah, because
but-
you're on the wrong side.
Yeah. So it was fun getting acclimated with that. But
Did you ever sit in the passenger seat in the front?
yeah.
It's real weird.
It
Isn't
is
it?
weird. It's
'Cause you're
terrifying.
Like, I should be driving.
I should be driving right now.
That's
yeah.
got to be like a mind fuck.
It's real weird.
Really weird. And so like the UK is the only country over that drives on the
Opposite side.
opposite side of the road.
Ireland does.
Oh, Ireland too,
Yeah.
but we didn't go there.
Yeah.
And Steven, after the first 3 days in the UK, he's like, I need to remind myself that I'm going to Europe. I need to drive on the right side of the road. So like we didn't like fucking die.
Wow. Okay, Steve, do what you got to do, man.
But so we roll up to the venue. Outside, it's an outside thing, and our green room. Each band had a green room, but like it wasn't it was smaller. Like if this room, like if there was a wall
There.
it was about that size. And this was also during like the heat wave was still going on across Europe. So it was like really fucking hot. It was probably almost like 100 degrees.
Wow.
Fahrenheit. And
100 degrees Celsius is like 200 degrees Fahrenheit.
yeah, I had to clarify.
You'd be dead.
But there were no, so like those were the green rooms. They were all like, but they were separated. But
Are they rooms or are they just tents?
It was a box. It was like a box,
yeah.
but all the boxes were in a giant tent, which was hilarious. It was like 4 of these really small boxes in this giant tent.
You're like, I can just sit outside.
Yeah. Well, there were chairs and tables outside, but like there was an air conditioner in the green room, which is nice. But the bathroom situation was that there was like an outhouse porta potty thing. Not like the plastic ones. It was like kind of like a built thing.
And that one was 100 degrees Celsius.
Correct.
Yes.
But the door was locked.
Yeah.
So like I just really needed to pee, like really bad. And so I was like, okay, well I need to go find like the public bathroom, which was fine. Like it was still before doors. No one was there. Yeah. Not that that matters, but like I could find this with ease, I guess. So I find the bathroom or maybe I needed to shit too.
You had to go to the bathroom.
I'll get there. I had to shit. I had to shit specifically because there were 2 toilets, 2 stalls. The one did not have a seat, nor did it have toilet paper.
You don't need that.
And I was like, I don't want to do this. The other stall was the handicap stall. And I was like, it's open. No one's here. I'm going to use it. I won't feel bad if someone who needs it is trying to get in and I'm taking a shit. But what was weird about the toilet bowl, not the seat itself, but the bowl, was that it came around and then like near the front, it dipped down. Okay. And so I go to poo. And I don't know how you guys are, but I pee before I poo. I don't just start pooing and peeing at the same time. I'm sorry that this is so graphic, but like, so I go to pee. I start to pee, and
this is just real quick. This is like there's a Jim Jeffries bit where he's at his kid's school and he likes making himself look big, so he sits on the little kid toilet, and his dick and balls don't get into the rim. It's on the outside, and he starts to poo, but he also starts to pee. He's like messing on the floor.
Yes. So that kind of happened to me, and then I'm like, wait a minute, my leg is wet.
Oh no.
And I didn't angle down enough, so it went through the little lip of where the toilet was, and I'm just pissing on myself. And I'm like, this is horrible.
What's the structural significance of that?
I don't know.
You were in the handicap
I was in the
stall?
handicap stall.
Oh.
Maybe
it's like if you're unable to stand up to pee,
that had to be it, right?
I don't even know where to begin with that.
You're
just pissing on yourself.
I am pissing. I stop, of course, and but it wasn't until like the bottom of my because like the bottom of the shorts, like where like around my knee, it was just like wet. It was just so wet, and I am in so much shame because it's a walk back to the green room.
Degrees.
What?
It's also
100 degrees. So I walk out of the bathroom, which is directly to the left of me is the merch. Lexi is setting up the merch and they're trying to talk to me. And I'm just like, I gotta go. And I'm not explaining why.
I gotta not be here right now.
But I gotta not be here right now. And like, I had no other choice. It also got on my underwear. So I had to. pull up my shorts and my underwear covered in pee on my body.
Did it at least cool you down a little bit?
No.
Because it was
hot.
so warm. Yeah, but it only takes, minutes for
what
piss to cool off, right?
Cargo short?
No, okay. So these, I was even more upset because these were my magic shorts. And I will explain. Before I left, I didn't have many shorts.
Where you keep your pigeons.
No,
No.
He just pulls out a handkerchief that never stops.
yeah.
It's covered in piss.
They were white.
It
They're
was
yellow.
white. Yeah. But I didn't have many shorts before we left, and there's a Salvo down the street from my apartment, and I'm like, I'll just go there and try and find some shorts. And I found these old U.S. Air Force shorts, and I'm like, oh, these are cool. They're kind of like windbreaker-y material, kind of like this, and so it sounds like this. And I loved them because no matter how bad I smelled, they did not.
Yeah.
And I thought it was some government technology in the shorts that made them not smell. And I was really upset because I peed on the shorts that never smell. I'm not even kidding you. Once I didn't put them into my rotation until maybe 5 days into the tour. So I hadn't discovered their powers yet. But once I did, I was like, these are amazing. I need to wear these every day. And then I peed on them.
Did they smell after you peed on them?
So
Dude, his voice just cracked.
So
yes.
I went back to the green room.
I broke the magic shorts.
And I had extra clothes in the green room.
Yeah.
I had an extra pair of underwear, and they were my show clothes that I was going to change into or whatever. And I said, hey, Steven, can I have the keys to the van? I need to change. And he goes, well, why don't you just change here? I'm like, well, I need to change my underwear. And he goes, why do you?
Why?
And I explained to him what I just explained to everybody here. And he goes, that's fucking hilarious. But, he's like, that's fucking hilarious, because he's a Scottish man. And he's like, I've seen the guys in drains dicks just fucking change. And I'm just like, okay. So I change, but then I don't want to wear those clothes because they were jean shorts and I needed something not tight on my pants, on my legs at that hot day. So I was like, well, regardless, I need to go to the van and change. And my phone is dying. So my phone was charging during all of this. And I turned my phone on Do Not Disturb. This is vital. So I was like, hey, Steven, if I close so in our Sprinter van, we didn't carry any of the cabs or anything. Comeback Kid, we shared their cabs. We just had heads and some other stuff. So we had a lot of room in the back of our van, in the boot. And I was like, if I close the door behind me, will it lock? And he goes, I don't know, but don't find out. And I go, got it. So behind the outhouse thing that I spoke of earlier, there was a fence, and then that's where everybody parked. And I went over there, and we were kind of parked on an incline, and I didn't forcefully shut the door, but gravity doing its thing just shut the door behind me. And I'm like, I am stuck in here.
Wait. Is there no way for you? What do you mean? It seems unsafe to not be able to get out of the vehicle.
Incredibly.
Because are you by the bunks or is there a separate section?
There's no bunks.
What are you sleeping on?
A hotel.
Oh.
Those are the kinds of tours that's part of the, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like America where you're like, well, there's not really a guarantee, so we're just going to build a bunk.
We had fees every night that covered our hotels and stuff, which was really awesome.
All right, so you're in the seat area.
No, I'm in the trunk.
Right, that's the question. So there's a wall between...
Oh, yes, there's a wall between the seat and the trunk, so I can't get into the van. I'm just in this box.
So I was like, why wouldn't you just climb out a different door, but
Yeah.
you can't.
Yeah, I can't. I'm just like quite literally sealed in this thing.
So you were so close to just dying
Oh my God, yes.
from
so,
heat asphyxiation.
So this happened because we played we were supposed to start playing at 8. And I remember this happened at like 7 p.m. And I'm like, okay.
1900.
At first, my first instinct was I can't freak out because then I'll just like
you're going to panic and it's going to be bad.
and it's going to be bad. Yeah. I'm like, okay, worst case scenario. Last person I talked to was Steven. He knows I went to the van to change, and our conversation was don't lock yourself in the back of the van. So he knows where I am.
You said, I won't, though.
Correct.
To be fair.
I said I won't. But he was about to nap. Honestly, had no idea where anybody else was at this point. I knew Lexi was at merch. I think Dan and Rob tried to find a pool, and Joe was being Joe somewhere else. And I'm stuck in this van. And then I'm like, I have my watch on. But my phone was on Do Not Disturb, which shouldn't have mattered. But the proximity
It wasn't connected.
was not connected. So I couldn't send anybody an SOS text. So at one point I was just like, okay, I was trying to assess. I was trying to open the door, and I was like, I'm like, I'm fucked. I was like,
This is how I go.
this is how I go. And it was getting hot. It was
Sure.
getting very hot.
Yeah, you're in a metal box.
I was in a metal box. And then at some point I just start screaming. I'm like, help, I'm in a van. I locked myself in the van. If somebody could let me out, that'd be really great. And I do that for a little while. And then I'm like, I'm not in America. I was like, people here,
Buongiorno.
yeah, I was like, I am speaking a foreign language to, yeah, I was like, this isn't working. And then I was like, oh man, I could like kind of see out the door through a crack. And beyond, the only viewpoint I had was like the entryway to the venue. And I saw people walking on the path, and I kept shouting every time. I was like, okay, now I need to conserve my energy. So I'm only going to yell when I see people. And I'm like, okay, smart, and no one is
I
like,
like that you're stuck in the van. The likelihood of you dying is probably not that high.
not high at all.
And it's not.
I'd say it's 50-50 at that
No,
point
I
because
think he just-
no one has to come back to the van.
Yes, they do, because we had to play at 8.
Yeah, they have to get the stuff.
It's in the van.
No,
cat-
but I'm
the
in the
heads-
van.
Okay, but what I'm saying is if he was like, he went to the van, but that was hours ago.
They would check the van.
They would check
Fair
the van.
enough.
Right? Yeah, I think like
I'll just go fuck myself.
7:45 before you're supposed to get on. They're like, "Where's John? Oh, he might be in the van." Like realistically, longest amount of time you would spend stuck would be an hour.
Yeah. And I was treating it
you
like
were
it was
treating it as if you were like trapped forever.
100%.
The heat is an issue.
It was
It's
sucked.
an issue, sure, but
Yeah.
1 hour.
Yeah.
Did it ever cross your mind that your watch actually has the emergency thing on it?
I was in Italy.
What? But that doesn't
I think
transfer
when you're-
over. I think
when
that
you go
does.
to a different place, it goes to the whatever.
goes
the
to
closest
theirs,
emergency
yeah.
is.
Wow, that would have been great.
So if you
But you would have
held
called
it,
like the Italian police.
yeah. And I would have been like,
And they'd have been like, "Oh, buongiorno," and you'd be like, "Well."
yeah.
and then they would have been like, let's just go to wherever it is. And I'm fairly certain that they do just for future,
Yeah.
for the future, it does notify that it's coming from a watch, I believe.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So now I know for the next time.
The next time you're locked in your van,
Like, hey guys, let me try something real quick.
do not let me out
Also,
under
like,
any circumstances.
It's one of those things, unless it's more than an hour. Trunks here, like in sedans and regular
they have the
cars,
pulleys.
they have the glow in the dark pulley system.
Yeah, so the inside back of our doors were plywood.
That was like made that way for
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
specific.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what? No one's gonna get stuck in here. So you're shouting, no one's coming.
When a lady is walking and I'm like, excuse me. I see her just kind of stop and do the, like, hello? You know, like, where is this coming from? And I'm like,
voice?
I'm in the van over here. And she comes up to the fence, like, very slow. I'm like, I was like, I locked myself in here. Like, could you please just let me out? I've been here for maybe 25 minutes. Like,
I'm not
very warm.
It's so hot.
I'm not having fun anymore.
I don't have to pee.
Yeah.
But.
And she's like, you're in the van? I was like, yeah. And like, there's no handle, so I can't get out. And she's like, are you in a band? I was like, yeah, but like, can you please just come let me out? And she goes, okay, I'll be right back. And then she's gone for like another 10 minutes. And I'm like, I am fucked. And then out of nowhere, I just hear a, and I'm like, oh my God, you know, like, and Steven is like, you know, he's like, John, you fucking idiot. And then I was like, could you please just let me out? They're like, have you learned your lesson? I'm like, yes, of course I did. I was like, I've been in here. And all the while, Dan was taking a video, and it's somewhere on the internet.
Wait,
all right, I got to get that from Dan.
Of them letting me out of the van.
Did you not change in front of Steven?
I did.
So why were you in the trunk?
Because I was like, well, I'll just change again. Like there.
He wasn't wearing his piss clothes to go change.
I also needed to like put the piss clothes in my suitcase and like do all this. I needed my suitcase. And
I had to string them out.
Yeah. And but then I washed the shorts in the sink after that. And then I wore them every day. And it didn't smell like pee.
They did smell like sink.
Magic shorts.
Magic shorts.
What did you learn from that situation, John?
I learned where the button was to get me out of the back.
Where is it?
There was one?
It was in a hole, but it was like, it wasn't straight ahead.
It was like an up.
Yeah, it was like an up or like to the left. And he's like, for next time, I was like, there won't be one.
I'm never coming back.
Yeah.
I'm going home.
So that was one of the most awful experiences of my life.
Do you have like war flashbacks to it?
No.
Just you were just in the closet at Overwinter.
So not only did you piss all over yourself, but you also like almost died potentially.
I probably almost passed out from
You almost
heat
went night-night.
exhaustion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have had like technically you could have had a heat stroke and died at any moment.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 Stupid.
Italy. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Wild.
ridiculous.
Yeah, that was
wild.
that was my experience in Italy.
Yeah.
How long into the tour was that?
8 days.
So you peaked at the top. You peaked terribly at the top, and then everything else was just better.
Everything else was much better after that.
You're like, hey, not stuck in the van.
Not stuck in the van. You know what? I think like
Ran out of money, but we're stuck in the van.
it may have not been the next day, but the day after that, maybe. One of the next shows, we drove through the Swiss Alps to Slovenia to play Punk Rock Holiday, and that was the best show ever.
That sounds pretty rad.
Yes, it was. There were two stages. There was the main stage and then the opening stage, which was called the beach stage, which is where we were because it was about 20 feet from a natural glacier river flowing through Slovenia. And you know how most festivals are like, oh, main stage or like opening stage and then main stage, opening stage, main stage, like flat. This was like all opening stage. And then there was like a 30-minute gap. And then it was all main stage acts because there was like a huge hill that you had to go between to get to everything. Like main stage up here.
Yeah, so they didn't want people just...
Yeah.
So they still ran it like it was an indoor show.
Yes.
As far as like, oh, that band played. All right. House music, change over.
Yes.
Go.
Yes. And which was awesome. Very efficient. And but we were like direct support for that stage, which was like crazy. We played in front of Petrol Girls who are fucking sick. But like
That's a band?
that is a band.
Okay.
Yeah, Petrol Girls they're amazing.
Yeah, I'm not like in the heavy scene anymore. So
They're
I don't
not
know
really
much.
that heavy. They're kind of like a garage punk.
It's a racing
Not in
game.
the music scene anymore, so I don't really like.
Okay.
I'm in a podcast scene now, so So lame.
Played in front of NPR.
Yeah. NPR Tiny Desk.
NPR Tiny Desk.
So the floor in front of it was just like all dirt and dirt, sand. It wasn't a floor. It was nature. And
What do they call that? Oh, the ground.
the ground. And there was just like a bunch of circle pits and like moshing. So all of this dust is just like coming up and like caking us while we're playing. And I remember like spitting at one point. It was just like black because there was just like all the dirt in my mouth. Our pedal boards were just like disgusting. And then like right after we finished, like we struck our stuff and Dan and I looked at each other. We're like, let's go in the river, let's go cool down. And then we're like swimming and we just like, we're looking around and he looked at me and he goes, who allowed us to be here? It's just kind of like.
And that's when you guys came up with the idea for Liquid Death, huh?
Yeah. Yes.
And he looked at me and said, "Did you pee your pants the other day?"
Yeah.
It just got warm.
Yeah. It just got warm. Yeah. I also don't know how I told everybody else that I did that. Well, no, because like after I got out of the van, they're like, why'd you do that? I'm like, I peed on myself.
Well, listen, it started here and it ended here.
It's just an absurd, like, that's the type of shit you see in like TV shows or movies where they're like, they do something and they mess up. So they're like, I can fix this. Yeah. And then they go to fix it and they make it like immensely worse. And they're just like, nope, I can still fix this.
Yep.
Like,
It was weird.
Yeah. That's so funny. So you've been in a lot of bands. You still are in a lot of bands, right?
Kinda.
What's your favorite
post-prom
band?
Spaced.
What's your
To
least
play in?
favorite band?
To play, I don't know.
You don't have to answer that.
No, I won't.
Just do it.
But post-prom Spaced, you were in Kill the Clock.
Yeah.
You were in Funeral Coat.
Yeah.
You were in, what else was there? I know there's more. I don't remember. all of
I
them.
played in Hotel Etiquette.
Hotel Etiquette.
You're in the Goo Goo Dolls, right?
No.
Now, of all of those bands
think
and the
that's
ones
it.
that you've toured with,
Yeah.
what is like your number one favorite tour you've done, or like city you've played, or like there's got to be something that stands out to you that you're like, all right, this is like, whenever I think of this band, this is what I think of. Because like the traditional, I have so many stories because that's, the main band I was in, but I was in other, I toured with other bands before that, and I have like a story from that.
Yeah,
Where I'm like,
yeah.
this was here at this time. You know what I mean?
So are you asking me like
What's a moment that, like, when you think about it, the first thing that comes to mind?
touring?
Yeah.
Brutal Assault Festival in the Czech Republic.
Okay. Explain.
So we got put on this festival. It was like a 3 or 4 day festival. Not the day that we played, but to put it in perspective, like Mayhem headlined.
Okay.
Cannibal Corpse was one of the headliners. So it was kind of like a grindy, darker,
Like black metal.
black
almost?
metal-esque festival.
I love that shit over
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we are not like that at all. We're like really, like we're poppy, I guess, in a sense. Like we have
In comparison.
to those bands. And we were like, we didn't know what to expect. This had maybe been like the third festival of the tour at this point. And usually the festivals will provide accommodation, like hotels.
Okay.
And they put us up at this like 6-star out of 5,
Like incredible.
like golf course resort thing, like maybe 20 minutes outside of the festival grounds. And the band that played before us was crazy, dude. They were so like they had a guitar player, bassist, drummer, and a vocalist. And the vocalist, Max, it was you. I mean, it wasn't you, but like
7 feet tall.
7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Just like, it was like this certified like dude, just like this dude, this like really tall,
Like the equivalent of the mountain from Games of Thrones. Or Games of Thrones.
whatever,
Game of Thrones.
whatever that means to you.
Sure.
I'm sure.
Acidic.
I don't watch that show.
Nerd. I don't watch it either. He's the nerd.
Yeah.
I thought you were calling me a nerd.
No,
and I was like, am I a nerd for not?
No, we're cool. We're
Yeah.
punks.
Yeah. Suck
Fair
it.
enough. Cool.
But their guitar player and their bass player would stand like this. They would play their instruments upright, Captain Morganing the monitor, you know, just like twirling their head, just like
Where they
thrash.
from?
What?
Are they from there? Are they from?
The vocalist is from Canada. I don't know where the rest of the band is from.
But they're North American.
I think so.
Yeah.
So the only reason I know the vocalist is from Canada is because
me.
Andrew, the vocalist of Comeback Kid, knows that guy because they're like friends. And he's like, and I'm sorry if I'm forgetting the name of that band, but their vocalist, he like doesn't tell anybody that he does this. It's just like something like, it's like his other life.
He's like an attorney at home, and then
He did something like,
something crazy.
I think he did something kind of professional.
yeah.
But the vocalist stood at a podium behind the drummer on the riser and like gave
Is the drummer at the front of the stage, or is he at the back?
still at the back, but he was moved up a little bit so
The riser. Can fit?
yeah, and so also the vocalist could stand behind him
Yeah.
He stood there the whole time?
the whole time.
That's so weird.
It was insane. And it was so
Just
like
a 4-piece.
just a 4-piece, and they were so heavy.
Listen,
and
I'm
just
a
like,
drummer, and I don't think a drummer should ever have the spotlight.
Yeah. Well, this guy was so big that it was like
Yeah,
still
it didn't
above
matter.
him.
You
Yeah.
wouldn't see the drummer.
Yeah.
You ever see Marilyn Manson perform? You know how he's on those big stilts? That's what it looked like behind the drummer.
Kinda. It was like, and we were like, and everyone in the audience, bands, everyone is just like head to toe, all black, just like heavy shit. And we're like, I'm wearing I'm wearing like a St. Louis Cardinals jersey. Joe's wearing this like brightly colored striped shirt. Lexi has their pink hair. Dan is wearing his skinny camo pants, and like Rob is like in shorts and running shoes, and like eventually takes his shirt off to play, which like wasn't like incredibly uncommon, but like we looked so fruity and compared to everybody there. And we're like, we got to follow that. We're like, we have to play after that. And they were like, uh-huh. And we're just like, we're fucked. Cause like, we're like, no one is going to give a shit.
Yeah.
And at this point we're like, people have given a shit, but we're like, today is the day no one gives a shit. Because like
we're following that.
But we were like, and the crowd was insane. It was so big. And we didn't know how many people it was until after we played. But we were just kind of like, at this point, we're like, fuck it. You know, we're just going to rip it and have a fuck ton of fun. Like, who gives a shit if, you know, they don't like it, whatever. And we were just kind of like hyping ourselves up. And we do sound check. And the stage manager was like, do your guitar players want to play through half stacks or full stacks? And we're just like, fuck it, full stack. We're just
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
And then Rob had his own drum tech, and everyone was so nice and like accommodating. And we're like,
Early, these guys look different. We got
that was kind of it. They were like, these guys.
These guys are from here.
They're not even wearing black.
Yeah. And it was like, and we did our sound check and everything. And then like, our discography at that time to this day is 18 minutes long. And we were slotted for 45.
Oh man, so you played it 4 times.
No, I told the stage manager, I'm like, hey man, like I didn't tell him how long we had, but I was like, we can't fill the full 45. Can we start like maybe 10 minutes late? He's like, I don't know. That to me is hazy. I don't remember if we started on time or what, but we played and people lost their minds. and it was like, whoa, like, because we weren't expecting shit.
Yeah.
And like, then everyone was like going off, and like, then we finished the set, and everyone's like, one more song. We're like, what?
We don't have one.
I was like, and Lexi was like, we played all of our music. And then I turned to the stage manager. He's like, you got 15 minutes. And we're like, what the fuck do we do? And
Just 15 minutes of breakdown.
they're just like, play another.
I was going to say, you should have been like, guys, when we hit the breakdowns, slow them down.
Well, like, what we kind of like about us is like, since our set is so short, we're just kind of like, we do it, we say our piece, and like we get off. And if you didn't see it, like, sorry.
Yeah, you'll see us next time.
Yeah. But so we played a song again, and then we're like, all right, we're done. And then everyone's like, one more song. And we're like, what the fuck?
Like, you have 14 and a half minutes left.
Yeah. Basically, he's like, you still got time. And Dan is like having trouble with his amp, and we're just like, we don't know if we can. And like,
You should
eventually,
have just wrote one on the spot.
that would have been
sick.
that would have been great.
That would have been sick.
Just start playing covers.
Yeah, and like,
You just start playing Iris or like
oh my
Goo Goo
god,
Dolls.
that would be unreal. But we played one more song again, and then we're like, okay, now we are done. And we were done, and it was super cool because like Comeback Kid was there watching us, which was like really, really nice of them. And Donnie wasn't with us.
Shout out Donnie.
So I don't know who FaceTimed him on their phone, but then Chase. Jay is the other Canadian bass player from Cancer Bats. Chase, the Canadian bass player from Comeback Kid, was holding Donnie. He didn't even know who this guy was, and was like showing him around the stage, like, oh, look at these guys. And it was like, and then afterwards we found out we played in front of 5,000 people.
That is gnarly.
And I was like, what? And I couldn't believe it. It was fucked up. So that to me is like the story, I guess.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a good story, man.
Is that
Yeah.
the biggest?
That was the biggest crowd I've ever played in front of ever.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was mind-boggling. And it was even cooler because like people like cared.
Yeah, dude.
You know, like it's weird.
It had to make you feel like I'm gonna do this forever.
It did. It did. It did make us feel like
This might work.
And
we might need 19 minutes, but it might work.
we did get confirmed for another festival this summer in the Czech Republic called Fiat Fest, FJAT.
Fiat?
We're not.
That's not.
We're not.
No.
We're not though.
But in the description about us, before they talked about us, they shouted out Dominic Hasek.
Oh, that's sick.
So we were just like, yo, like we need to print like a one-off Dominic Hasek spaced shirt for that show.
And
That
you
would be
all-
sick.
You
Yeah.
all have to wear a fucking
Sabres
gear.
jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan posted something of like a spaced jersey, and I was like, you need to reach out to Violent Gentlemen, right? Did he tell you about that?
No.
I was like, this could happen. All you have to do is talk to Violent Gentlemen. They'll do it.
Yeah.
And then
It
you
would be
guys can
so sick.
collab and
Yeah.
whatever. And I was like, all I expect is a discount. And he goes, nah, you get a free one. I was like, no, dude, I'll support you guys. Almost free.
I'll take the free one.
Almost free.
I'll take the free one.
But
Yeah,
no,
next
that's very doable. You guys could absolutely do that. It would just, you know.
I think it'd be sick. We kind of wanted to do like penny jerseys for like penny football jerseys for a festival we played in Tulsa, but we didn't get the blanks in time, or like they weren't going to ship in time. So we didn't. And then our friends in Ankle Biter did them, and we're like, oh man, like we were going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think of
Merch is dumb.
Etid. They did those
Merch is
jerseys.
so dumb.
The
Yeah.
goat head jerseys or whatever, but it was, his drawing. or
Well, they
whatever,
did the
but-
other ones before the.
Yeah, the Bills ones, right?
No,
No,
it
they
was
had a
another
different- they
hockey.
had a
It was
different
another.
sweater.
It was the royal blue one that with the sword that said "Every time I die."
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Merch is dumb though. Merch fucking sucks.
Merch is tough.
I was trying
Yeah.
to do merch for the show that we were doing.
I saw your table.
Dude, it was no one else did.
Oh,
The amount of just beer bottles and cans and glasses and shit were on it. And when I got there, fuck you, Aiden.
oh man.
When I got there, I was like, hey, can I just put something on your table, like your table.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, the fucking one of the other bands is gonna push it here. There might not be that much space. And I was like, I have 3 stickers and a postcard. And he's like, no, use that table. I was like, okay. And I was just in this dark corner. And my shit was just there. Aiden.
He moved to New York City. No one ever heard from him again.
Actually, that's a lie.
I hear from him.
I texted him the other day with a tech question. Well, I said, hey, man, I have a tech question for you when you have a moment. I hope the move, the new digs and your new job are treating you well. Like, let me know when you have a minute. And he didn't reply to me for like 13 hours. Well, and he goes, hey, John, sorry, I had a long, crazy day. Do you still need help? And I said, no. Because I got someone else to help me.
I got a real friend to help me.
No, Aiden's a real friend. He was probably having a day. I relate.
You never know what he's going through out there. Everything's different now, you know?
Everything's
new job, different everything. That's got to be like so much to take on all at once.
Yeah, it's crazy. I could not just like drop everything that I have here and move somewhere else and then just...
chance.
Yeah, no, neither.
Yeah. Props to you, Aiden. We love you, dog. Keep crushing it.
We're all right with you, Aiden. Let's be honest.
Aiden, you're a swell guy.
I clearly like you the most here. Just keep that in mind, all right?
Keep that in mind for future things.
For future things.
Very good. What's the tightest set you've ever seen? It doesn't have to be your favorite band, but the tightest set. Mine was Kubla Khan. The first time I saw Kubla Khan was at the Palladium in Worcester for Vanya's final show, and they played the upstairs. Have you been to the Palladium?
Yeah,
Have you
played
been to the
Palladium.
upstairs?
No, I played the parking lot with
Oh, you did
yeah.
the
4 Year Strong or the Newfound Glory thing.
Yeah.
That was that festival?
Yeah. Inside, because there's the big auditorium room,
Yeah.
and then like there's a small room upstairs. It's
I
kind of like
I didn't see the smaller room upstairs.
yeah, it's like a studio at the waiting room size kind of place. And I
Got it.
saw Kubla Khan played there, and Old Wounds played, On Broken Wings played, and like a couple other bands. But Kubla Khan's, it was just like start to finish. It was the tightest thing I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mean, On Broken Wings also, it was just like mid 2000s metalcore Max was having just a love affair with that entire section.
Of course.
But Kubla Khan, for sure, it was just like everything, just like it was just hot. It was good. It was tight.
What was yours? I gotta keep thinking.
I think it's Bruno Mars. I'm gonna be honest, dude. I've seen a lot, especially working at Ballroom. I've seen just about anyone that comes through. But dude, he's just so like in the pocket at all times.
Oh, I could imagine.
Vocally, and then like he plays everything. He plays keyboards. He plays guitar. He crushes.
Did he play drums?
I don't remember if he played drums. I know he played guitar and he did some crazy solos, like fucking shredding. He played keys. He's just like one of I'll just say it. He is our generation's James Brown as far as performances.
I
go.
thought you were gonna say he's your hall pass.
No. No, but that goes without saying.
He's also
No, it was just such a fun show. Like Jen and I went and we get in our seats, and the woman next to us goes, this is at KeyBank Center.
Oh.
The woman next to us goes, hey, I'm really sorry if I bump into you. I'm a dancer. And Jen looks over and she goes, we're not even here for me. He's going to outdance both of you. And they just laughed. And then I fucking...
You did it. You did it. Yeah.
just the way.
Oh, my God. He's just so fun. Best show easily, and it's not even close.
Mm-hmm. Man, I'm still thinking.
Tightest set.
Tightest,
best.
dude.
Because I mean, like
honestly,
Kubla Khan was good, but I think the best was probably like, I don't know. The best was probably like the first time I saw Every Time I Die.
Yeah,
it was just like I didn't go to concerts a lot, but I listened to a lot of music, and then it was just like, oh, this is everything. Or even Let Live. Like every time I've seen Let Live, it was just the top.
First time. This isn't my answer, but the first time I saw Every Time I Die is the day my grandma died. Yeah. Anyway,
it's tough.
Anyway, yeah, it was a weird day. But I think when we just played with Snapcase at the Rec Room, Snapcase was unbelievable.
They're so good.
It was.
Was that for the Christmas show? No,
it was just yeah. It was just a Snapcase show, and I was like, wow. It was it was fucked up how good they were. Like, even like I love feedback. Feedback is one of my favorite things to incorporate into music. And sometimes you can like,
Oh, like with the amp.
yeah.
I was like, you should always take feedback.
Oh, and like,
I knew what you meant.
yeah. And like, sometimes you know how you can like, you can create it, but it make it sound natural.
Yeah.
Even that
Was
just like exactly where and when it needed to happen and timed perfectly beginning to end.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is fucked up. That is just so fucked up.
Yeah.
But I love it so much. Yeah, I think that was the tightest set I've ever seen ever. Probably.
I think the coolest thing I've ever done at a show was I went to Toronto when Under Oath was breaking up for the first time.
Whoa.
And I went with Brian Kazmierczyk and Carl Morse. They used to be in Kills and Thrills.
Okay, I know of
And
that band. Not of those
those
people.
dudes were on that show, or they knew someone on the tour, or they knew the guys on the tour because it was like Let Live and Let Live, Me Without You, and Under Oath, and maybe one more opener. I don't remember who it is. But anyways, we were side stage. And Daniel Davison is my favorite drummer. Like, he's the one. Norma Jean, when I was growing up, was the shit. Like,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Bless Him, Art, Kiss a Child, that was the record that was like, you want to be... I was already drumming for like years before that, but it was like, you want to be a drummer? You need to do this. This is what you need to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So I just became infatuated with him, but then he was on that tour. So I'm side stage, and I'm watching, and he's probably like maybe from here to that wall. And I'm like, I'm videotaping, and I'm like, I'm so far away. So I get closer. I am me and Max, close to him, taping him. And Under Oath, when they do their tours and their shows, they have a big projector projecting a video on
Were
the screen.
you on the screen?
Dude, the screen was projecting onto me.
Oh, so it's just
Well,
a little
I'm just like this.
shadow?
I still have the videos, but I'm just like this. And the TM comes up to me. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "Watching Daniel Davison."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, you're too far up. Move the fuck back." And I was like, "Oh." And I look, and I'm like, "Oh." Just like, dude.
That's my bad. That's my
But
bad,
he
everybody.
didn't throw me off the stage. He was just like, "Get the fuck up. What are you doing? Get the fuck away." And then like,
He's just
then
like this fucking
so I'm just like
dope.
standing there watching the rest of the show, and Spencer, the screamer and lead singer, he must have had in-ear problems,
Yeah.
and they're like none of their cabs actually have anything coming out of them.
Yeah, they're dummy cabs, yeah.
So when you're on stage, you don't hear anything except for the fucking drums. There is no music coming through. It's all coming out of the PA. It's
crazy.
Yeah.
Unless
On
you
tours
have
that,
unless you have live amps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
But if you have dummy cabs and shit, everything is just like all the stage sound is just drums.
it's basically like direct. Like they're going directly in,
Yeah.
whatever. So he's like, I'm standing in front of their little rig for their in-ears, and he like comes over, he like fucking throws me out of the way with like Carl and someone else, throws us out of the way, and he's like, "Ah, ah," and then he does it, and he's like, "Fuck it," and then just runs back out, and we're just like, we should not be here.
Yeah.
Like, we do not belong here at all.
Yeah.
But that was like probably one of the cooler things, just because I was like, these people don't. They probably thought I was like, oh, there's a videographer out there. No, dude,
some guy with an
BlackBerry.
iPhone.
Yeah, so that was
Oh,
pretty cool.
God.
But
Man. Yeah. Yeah. Could I tell two more quick things?
you
Is
tell.
that okay?
You go right ahead. I'm not
Okay.
going to stop until you're ready.
So when we were in Europe, my dad came over and saw a few shows because he's retired and he could like do whatever he wants. And the one night so my dad is crazy and I love him. He rented an Airbnb to stay in while he was there for a few days. It was George Harrison's childhood home that some guy
In the
flipped.
UK.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that some guy flipped into an Airbnb. And he's like, you can crash here for a night. I'm like, what? So like we got to stay in there, but he's like, you could stay there. Caveat is you need to drive me back from the show. Because he's like, why would I take an Uber?
Right.
I'm like, of course. So it was just so funny seeing my dad is, what year is it? 2023. My dad is 70. it was so funny seeing my dad in the van with us degenerates and this random guy from Scotland that we had all just met.
That's awesome.
Just like roll up to a gas station. Cause like, you know how it is. Like you roll up to a gas station and you know the drill. Whoever it is goes in, pays for gas, you fill up, you get your snacks, you get back in and you go. And like, we all knew it. And my dad's like, what are we doing? I'm like, going to the gas station. He's just like, do you not know?
Haven't you ever been on tour
Yeah,
before?
because
get
like
a
he played
fucking
music
snack.
growing up and stuff, but he had never done anything like I am doing, and it was just crazy. But then on a separate day later, my mom and my two sisters came out, and it was in Germany, and we were all hanging out. Lexi, Dan, Joe, we were all hanging out outside of the venue. And Lexi was doing their vocal warm-ups, and they do something like, I can't really do it, but it's like, yeah, thank you. A vocal fry.
Yeah.
And my mom's like, oh, is it Vocal Friday? I love that. And I am like, what? I was like, what the fuck is that? And then my mom is like, yeah, when it's Friday, me and the girls have Vocal Friday and we talk like this. And my sisters, both of my sisters are just like, we don't do that.
We don't do that. That's not us. That's not us.
My mom just like wouldn't stop doing Vocal Friday. And yeah.
That's too
Vocal
funny.
Friday.
Yeah. That's Space just had practice. And I told them that I was coming here, and Lexi's like, "You need to tell that story."
That's great.
And yeah, it was
love
cool.
that.
Yeah,
Vocal Friday.
but it was just out of nowhere.
Vocal
Friday.
You bet your ass it is, man.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Yeah.
And you got one more?
That same day, Vocal Friday, I wore
The day
like
to
a
be known
butt-
as Vocal Friday.
Yeah, there was. Granted, there isn't in a lot of places AC in venues in Europe, and it was really fucking hot that day.
Yeah.
And
Did you piss your pants again?
packed room, no, but I sweated through my entire shirt. It was like a button down shirt. It changed color.
Playing or just existing?
Playing.
Yeah.
I sweat through my pants.
yeah.
There were parts of my pants that were like a darker shade of khaki. My socks were like I just dipped them in a
You
pool.
stained them.
I think that's a movie, right? Darker Shade of Khaki.
Yep. Yeah.
50 Shades of Khaki.
And I hung up my shirt after we played outside of the van. And Dan Steven and my dad bonded so well in the very few days that they knew each other. And it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And after that, Steven wouldn't stop telling me that he wished my dad was his dad. And after I took off my shirt and put it on a hanger and hung it on the fence, it's soaking wet, dripping. Steven proceeds to put it on.
Hey.
And Dan has a video of him putting it on, and he goes, he goes, Jim, I want you to be my dad. And it was so
How
good.
old is Steven?
I don't know. Probably like mid-30s, maybe. He's fucking
I want
hilarious.
you to be my dad.
He's the best. Like if we were so lucky we got stuck with him because he like outmatched our wackiness.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's great, especially for like all of you to mesh that quickly too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
That's
and on a
always
tour
the
in a
best.
different country.
Yeah. Day 2, Rob asked Steven if he personally knew Shrek. And I think that was the point where we're just like, yep, we're good. You know,
That's great.
We're friends now.
We're
It's-
friends now.
It's open game right there.
Yeah.
At that point, you just let them know.
Yeah, that dude loved Coca-Cola. He just wouldn't stop drinking it.
That's
It tastes different over there.
they
Soda-
use real sugar.
Soda is different. Soda's different over there. I had so much soda. It
They
was
still
tight.
put the cocaine in that too.
No.
They do put codeine in Advil, though.
What?
Yeah. The
Really?
ibuprofen has codeine in it. Dude, shout out.
He's like, why do you think I stayed there? He's like, why do you think I was there for 3 years straight?
Yo, you think Advil works over here, brother? You have a headache and you're out. It's bonkos.
That's good to know.
It's insane. They also like.
Dude, imagine
avoid
you
it, to
broke
avoid it.
Edge because you fucking took Tylenol.
Yeah.
I think medicine counts. I don't know. Either way, in some countries they give you like if you're like supposed to take 100 milligrams of something, they'll give you the full 500 milligram pill and tell you to divvy it up yourself.
That's wild.
Whoa.
You're just sitting. You're like in your house with a razor blade to take fucking like omeprazole, like fucking like stomach acid stuff, and you're just like, okie dokie. Let's hope I get this right.
Oh God.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a real put the burden on you kind of place.
Yeah.
It's fun though, socialized, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's cool.
They do it right over there.
They do.
Yo, yeah. Well, very cool, man. It was cool having you.
Yeah, it was great.
Do you have anything you
Great
want to
having you on
plug?
the show, man?
Anything I want to plug?
Yeah, where can people find you and Spaced and all that
Instagram, bands, all that stuff.
Yeah, if you have the internet, you can find us.
We'll have all the links and everything under in the description, per usual.
Yeah, fucking Google it, bitch.
It's spaced underscore
Remember his name.
spaced underscore HC. That's it. Gas station 2023.
Yep.
Cool.
You can find me everywhere, maxkaiser.com. KACZORC is a cat, Z and zebra, OR.com.
Cool. Like and subscribe, guys.
You can find John in the basement, I guess. I don't know what else you do. He might fix your house.
I won't do that.
He won't do that.
Well,
You can ask him.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.